everyone, I am CM Veritas, and I am joined today by...
I am Njoror.
Yay! You can't see me at the moment, I'm the face off in the corner. I guess you just stand over here. But here I am. I thought you should all stare at Njoror's beautiful face. So, we are having our February 24th Town Hall meeting, and I will go over some of the announcements. So, for those who got to join us for our extra maintenance, because who doesn't need more maintenances to go
I know,
there?
I was there.
Really, it's a fun event everywhere. So, the maintenance was to correct a few issues with the Share the Love Happy Hour drops. They should have been resolved, along with the Graham Potion rewards. And so we do know that a select number of players were experiencing a system server error. Should have been fixed, but if it hasn't, contact us.
So there's an error that has been happening for certain players in the Hawaii maps, where they sort of get locked out of their characters. The reason why it's happening is your character data basically gets reverted. So you're not in a location inside of the game world, and the game does not like that. The fix that we put in should revert your location to your prior location if it happens. If you do still experience it, write in a support ticket, because we have our GMs looking specifically for those issues reported after our extra maintenance on Thursday. So yeah, for the other the two event ones, the Share the Love event, the swag and July Happy Hour box were supposed to have ended, but they weren't, and they were dropping at all times. And the, I believe Happy Hour 5 was supposed to replace it. So that was fixed. So Happy Hour 5 box should be dropping at the regular Happy Hour times. And then there was a Graham Potion item that I think if you removed from your gift storage would be broken or deleted or something like that. We just switched that item out with a working Graham Potion. So you don't really have to do anything for that. That was just switched out at the game.
But it should be fixed. So all of that is awesome. Also, there was a rare bug on the War of Imperium maps. It should be resolved. It was causing instances where Channel 10 would crash on us. Last case Wednesday, February 15th.
Yeah, so that happened twice, I think 2 weeks apart from each other. And it's a super, super rare case that requires like milliseconds of certain things happening, which is why it didn't happen for every woe, or it didn't happen all the time. But we put a fix in that should resolve it, and we'll find out, because if it doesn't resolve it and the channel goes down, I will get a phone call and come in to fix it.
Is it like 3 a.m. in the morning or something?
No, thankfully, woe's on Wednesdays, I think
right.
at 7 a.m., and then Saturdays at 5, though, so.
That's really early for me
Depends
anyways.
on where yeah.
7 o'clock is way too early in the morning.
Yeah.
Alright, well, so those were some of the updates. Oh yes, we also have a sale on refinement and storage items. So check those out. We've got Infinium Lucky Powder, Blessing Powders, and lots of storage expansions, because I've seen some of your guys' storages and they are packed. So I highly recommend getting some storage expansions. They are 50% off right now. So let's get moving. So as you can see, this is the Town Hall meeting with Ragnarok 2 producer Njoror. Oh, it looks like Eden is joining us in the chat.
Eden's one of our other
Yes.
community managers. She's helping us out in the chat right now, so if you see somebody,
She's been running
in
lots
there,
of fun events.
make sure that you report her to Twitch or YouTube or whatever you're in. No, don't do that.
Just report Eden all the time. It'll be hilarious. I'm sure she'll love it. And I'm just a mysterious voice off in the corner in front of the camera. Hello, how lovely. Alright, so let's get to these questions. Same rules as before. We will go through the pre-created questions ahead of time. If you have any other questions, we will get to those at the end. If we have time, I'm sure we can convince Njoror to answer all your burning questions.
And I'm totally guessing at this, but I think Eden is going to be collecting questions, or if not, we'll ask for questions at the end. So if you're posting a question right now while we're answering the ones that were posted up on the forum topic, we'll ask for questions at the end. You can just repost it in the chat, and we'll try and hit the questions up there.
Yes. Either way, just bug Eden, because it'll be hilarious if you do. I'm sure she'll love every moment of that. I might have broke my question after posting it. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Alright, so let's go to the first question. And it is by Saturni. Saturni asks, why is the price of the items you can buy with blood points so high? I feel like 250 M for Black Label or White Messenger is extremely high.
So I wrote the short answer for this is that prices were applied years ago, never updated. But it won't mean that it won't be changed. They're just lesser priority than bigger issues like bugs, crashes, balance, some new content. But it can definitely be looked at and rolled into our PvP stuff that we're looking into doing this year. We're looking at updates to PvP, new items, new ways to balance it, all that kind of stuff. So we can look at all those existing prices for items when we start rolling that out. But the reason why they're so high right now is that it was just applied years ago when it first went in, never adjusted, never changed or anything.
We will take care of that.
Sure.
One day. All right, next question is also by Saturni. In the future, will we be able to buy more stat and skill points from Depart NPC?
We were actually discussing that, I think, this week. No conclusion as of yet, but if we do a level, it would probably be tied in with some kind of level expansion or some big overhaul of master levels. We're working on, we kind of shifted focus to working on master level zones, new content, fixing the leveling curve, and addressing a lot of stuff there. It may come up during all that, or it may come up later during level expansion, so we'll see.
Cool. All right, the next one is by, oh gosh, I hope I don't pronounce this wrong. Clouchy?
Clouchy?
Clouchy? Is it Clouchy? Clouchy?
Clouchy?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Why do you dislike pineapple on your pizza?
Something about the sweetness of pineapple with the hot tomato sauce isn't right. But I did want to point out that I do enjoy pineapples and I do enjoy pineapple juice. Just don't put it on my pizza.
You're saying we should put it on your pizza?
No, don't. That's the opposite.
Kashi also asks, will we get more flag capes this year? Maybe Chilean.
Did we skip a question? Or I don't know. That actually was a funny story. We were looking at when we started to give out the capes. So let's flash back a couple of years, or maybe a year. No, probably a couple of years now. We were kind of given these flag, like the last team decided to make flag capes without telling us, and I think we found them or something happened. There was no plan for these, so they just kind of did them. And then when we found them, they were like, oh, maybe you can find something to give them away for. And we were in the middle of like a lot of content that we wanted to come out, and we were just like, okay, we'll figure it out later. I don't know what to do. And we were also worried at the time, which is sort of coming to fruition now, that like, oh, if we give out some flag capes, everybody wants a cape for their country. We'd been sitting on it for so long that we just decided like, hey, let's give these out to celebrate the ones that we have. But then I was looking into sort of what were our top most populous, or our top 10 most represented countries as far as players go, and the only one that didn't have a cape on that list was Chile. So I did see if one of our artists could get a Chile cape made, but it happened to be like made like a week after their independence or whatever day that we're giving them out for. So it has to wait till the next time it comes around, or else it was going to be inconsistent.
So what you're saying is, just scream at us when you're about to have your Independence Day.
It should be the next time it rolls around, we should have it ready. But it just, by the time we decided to do that and the time that we got the asset for it, it had already passed. So, yes, we've done work for it.
This year.
Yeah.
This year we will get it right.
So the short answer is yes, we will have it probably.
Just yell at us, remind us, tell us, go, it's going to be a week and it's going to be the Chilean Independence Day.
Yeah. We'll make sure to put it on our calendar.
Yes.
Actually, I need to make sure that we haven't skipped any.
And you are correct. We did miss one. I, unfortunately, for some reason, somehow missed this particular question. But Clauchy did actually has another question. Why does the Green Zeppelin keep changing sizes in different locations?
I wrote that they're not the same Green Zeppelin, but cover bands. Otherwise, I don't know. That was done a long, long time ago.
I like that. They're just cover bands. All right. Next question. Hopefully I'm in the right order now. It is by Dumpfield. Why do barricades not work in WoW?
They were disabled a long time ago, probably a couple of years ago. I don't think it was something that was actually in a note that was sent to us, and it was just something that happened because the last team thought that they were being abused during War of Empyrean. The reason why we put in the siege weapon guild skill, a big reason why, was because the siege weaponry was being kind of spammed, and with no real consequence to it. In the case of the barricades, it actually provided a real barricade to it, so it was a much bigger deal if they were being spammed. But I wrote down that now that we have siege weaponry working for the most part, we can look into bringing back barricades, because now it's just going to be limited to whatever the guild skill the guild has to put them down. But they were initially disabled because I believe the last team thought that they were being abused.
Cool. Well, now we can fix it. Woohoo! All right. Q Danfield also asks, will transformation items be made tradable?
I think this is like transmog items. We can look into it. It hasn't really, as I put here, pinged our radar before now. It hasn't been something that has been screamed at us or we've gotten in feedback or something, so we can look into it. I can't say when that might happen or if it would happen, but we could look at it.
Q Danfield also asks, can we get different moves and emotes in game? Maybe costumes giving different emotes too.
So yeah, we want new emotes, dances, hairstyles, other customization options, and we're looking into what that would take and how long it would take. Like new emotes and dances would take more moving parts and more departments to tinker with, because you need animation and you need stuff like that for it. So it would have to be scheduled juggling, because we still have a lot of stuff that we want to do. We still have Niflheim, we still have a lot of PvP, PvE updates, but we obviously consider also the social interaction stuff to be sort of vital to Ragnarok 2 and the people who play it. So it's something that we're looking into this year and seeing how long it would take, when we could do it, and what we want to do. If you have any ideas or suggestions of what you would like to see from an emote or a dance, always feel free to post it up on the forum or to PM us or any of that.
Moonwalk. All right. We are now up to a new questionnaire. Vanilla Mint asks, do you have any ideas about solving Zenny inflation?
I've talked about this before, but it needs to be incremental changes. We've tried in the past, and we've seen attempts in the past from other games to do in-your-face events or things like that would require you to spend Zenny to participate. An example from Ragnarok 2 was a casino event where there was certain random boxes sold from Kafras for a while that had tiered Zenny costs. So like the one with all the really good stuff in it costs the most amount of Zenny. It's sure that a lot of Zenny goes out of the market, but it doesn't. The rich remain rich, the poor remain poor, because the rich aren't going to spend themselves into the poorhouse, and the poor are probably going to get enough and buy one and still remain poor or something like that. Incremental changes like introducing new systems or updates to systems that are in the game that require a Zenny tax of some kind can help that, because then it's integral as part of the game that you have to use the system, so you have to pay 5 zenny, 10 zenny, whatever it is. And so everybody's doing that, and it sort of flows out the increase in zenny. You also have to look at what's causing the zenny to come into the game. We've made changes before where we've changed prices of items. An example of that is in Dare Desert when we first released Advent of Valkyrie. There was a big complaint of materials dropping and I think other stuff dropping, I can't remember. And we requested, like, the drop rate's really insanely low. Can we do something about it? And the quick fix that they did was to increase all the drop rates of everything. The unfortunate part of that is the armor and the weapons dropped more readily, so you found people just farming certain monsters so that they could sell the armor and the weapons for zenny, and they would just stockpile this forever. That continued for 1 to 2 years, I can't remember now, my memory shot, before it actually changed. And then we made a change, I think, a couple months ago about something that it just looked like whoever had designed it had mistakenly put the decimal point in the wrong spot, so the items were selling for a whole lot more than they should have been. Looking at those kind of changes and continuing to look at like where people are getting the zenny coming in, but really it's about incremental changes. It's not going to be a big in-your-face thing because honestly, players, and we're players here as well, see that and they're not going to you're not tricked by that. So you need incremental stuff that's part of the game that you introduce.
Cool. All right. X-Cupid Stunt asks, there's been several WoW resets in Odin in the past for various reasons. Can we have a scheduled WoW reset each trimester or semester? When are you going to reset the WoW maps again?
It's an interesting idea. I would like to look into something that we could build into the system of WoW and not so much like somebody literally, well, not literally, figuratively, switching it at a certain time. We could do that like every month or 3 months during a select maintenance. We reset WoW. It's just better if it's built into the game, and it's less likely that human error will come into play. But yeah, we'll look into that.
Woo. Peachy Love asks, when do dungeon lockouts reset? I've been told by public that they reset at 9 and also given the answer 5 or 6.
It is 5 a.m. server time, which is 5 a.m. Pacific time, which is our time. It should be that time. I checked the database just before I came in here, and everybody who's active right now says 5 a.m. So
sweet. We are back to Clonchy asks, can you make an easy version of the old dungeons? And if no, why not?
I mean, we can. It depends on what you mean. I've heard the complaint before that people want to do dungeons for quests or for what have you, but can't find other players to do them with. So they want solo dungeons, solo versions of those dungeons. We could do that. I'd also like to look at the root cause of that and why isn't there an incentive for people to work there. Maybe, an alternative thing would be to have a helper system, which I know was being worked on before us and was kind of shelved because it didn't work, but basically having a system where higher level people have an incentive to help lower level people and just bring the whole game together. Yeah, we can. I mean, right now we're looking at sort of the opposite. The legacy dungeons of Garden of Baphomet, Culprit of Abyss, and Abaddon of Despair, and finding out if we can do an extra tier mode where it's level cap, people that can go in and get scaled up armor and equipment and items, and then trying to figure out what story would lead us into there instead of just being like, here's a dungeon, do it. So yeah, we definitely could, but I don't know if that's the best decision long term, because long term then everyone's going to do the dungeon by themselves, and it's an MMO, and then you lose that sense of group and socialization. But I understand the frustration of not not being able to find somebody for that. So
yeah, it can be frustrating. I think another big issue that players have is like when you're in the game, it actually has a button for easy mode that you can't actually click.
Yeah.
That was weird.
I don't know. We're still dealing with so many leftover
Yeah.
things from incomplete ideas from the last team that we cannot talk to because they no longer are there.
Yes.
We didn't kill them, to be fair. They just aren't there to talk to.
Are you sure?
I didn't kill them.
All right, next question. Hopefully it doesn't involve murder. Is there any balancing plan for the classes? Melee classes feel left out in PvE. And this is by Extremerity.
No, we're done balancing. There will be no more balancing in the game ever. Yeah, balance stuff is someone's gonna cut that clip and just play that.
Yeah, over and over.
Balance stuff, we sort of target high priority stuff first. So we know a lot of people are still having problems, and we know balance is a constant thing that we have to do. But we sort of targeted some key high priority stuff with battle tactics, double hiding damage, the priest stun, some stuff that was like causing really, really heinous problems in PvP. And then now we're looking at other classes and how to improve them, like Wizard, like some other people that are not picked to play. It's not really done. I know some people have questioned us and been like, when do we have a Wizard update? When do we have this and that? Right now, because we have so many fixes and updates we're juggling, it's sort of going from high priority to low priority. So they will be addressed probably this year. Not probably, but they will be addressed in some fashion this year. But I know some people want like a balanced patch. And in order to do where we hit up all the classes, in order to do that, it would shelve a lot of other projects that we're working on right now. And so we would have a lot of maintenances where it would be like, oh, we have another sales maintenance, or we have another like whatever. And so
maintenance all the time.
Right. And so it's easier to develop, test, and push out if we do these incrementally. I use that word a lot. But instead of like holding on to stuff and then launching it, like, hey, we're fixing this skill, we're fixing this hill, we're fixing how this stat works, we're fixing this, we're rolling it out, and then we get to a better picture by the time we get to like Niflheim and like level expansion comes out. Yeah.
Woo. Also, apparently, I just want to say that Kados has suggested that they make an auto-tune song of you saying that nothing will ever get changed ever again.
Go for it.
I might give someone a prize if they do that. I don't know. This is gonna be the new event. Extremity also asks, are there any plans for new pets in the future? DPS 5-star pets would be nice.
Yeah. The 5-star thing we can look into, but right now we have a big design project we're doing to overhaul the master level zones, and it sort of has phases from what we can do the quickest and the easiest, which we're already testing most of it on our test server, to new quests, to new DNA and new cards for monsters that didn't have them before. So it's gonna be looked at soon.
Yay!
And worked on. I don't know, I can't tell you exactly when they'll start rolling out because we'll have to see how those back-end systems work in order to make new stuff. If everybody collectively crosses their fingers, maybe it'll be really easy. So we'll see. We're going to start looking into that this next month.
Woo. I don't want pets. I just want a little pet to follow me around. Get on. Alright. Extremity asks, does Niflheim really exist?
In real life, I don't know. Maybe. In the game, yes. What we basically got from the team before was 2 maps. And by that, I mean no quests, no NPCs, no monsters, no level expansion details, stat details, nothing. It's basically, they made 2 maps. And I think they have the intention of making more than that. Well, I know they do because I saw some early plans for it, but and we saw the concept art for it. But we basically just have 2 maps in concept art right now. So we're looking at the majority of it. We're going to be working on and trying to see what we can flesh out with it, and using those 2 maps plus trying to see what else we can do. So it does exist. It's just it was probably previewed much earlier than it should have been. Plus, we made the transition from that team to our team, so slowed a lot of stuff down. And so it does exist. We still have plans for it to come out, but it is our Everest right now.
One day. It exists as stuff. Alright, next. Extremity asks, you mentioned something about revamping the old raid dungeons. Do you plan to revamp existing dungeons or add another mode of difficulty?
The second question, our idea is it would be another mode of difficulty, but it would be for level capped people. We would be targeting Garden of Baphomet first, and then going Culvert of Abyss and Abaddon of Despair. Scaling up items and stuff there. Ideally wanting to make a change to maybe the textures or something and how those items look, so that they differentiate themselves from the ones at level 50. Also trying to figure out how does it make sense in the story, because we don't just want to drop stuff into the game that doesn't really connect that well with story. I know that we've had some updates that have done that, and a lot of people who are fans of RO and RO2 have wanted us to drive the lore back. And then there's other players that I sometimes am, where I just accept the quest, complete the quest, and I don't read anything. But yeah, that's what we're looking at doing.
Alright. Extremity also asks, can you make different levels of gear, like epic and godlike gear, with different difficulties to get?
If you mean like beyond the quality of gear that we have now, sure. Right now, the new gear that would come in that we foresee would either be the new PvP gear or the new gear from the legacy raids that I just mentioned. I don't know if there's a quicker turnaround for gear that we would do right now besides those 2. Those are the 2 that are being looked at right now, or those would be the soonest ones before Niflheim.
Klaus, she says, I just want the Dark Lord. Extremity asks, can you guys make a hone locking system so when you hone you can keep selected lines?
After we get the card reinforcement update out and kick out all the bugs and cedar and address some other things, we'll be looking at honing what we can do. With those updates to the systems, we kind of just were looking at what is, like with the other stuff, what's the most critical, what's the most messed up. Fusion happened to be the most messed up. Like in game, it was more approachable. If you looked at it from the back end, it was being held up with stilts and rubber bands and what have you. We can look at honing. Honing is probably the most complicated system, or complex system, I should say, there is. But there's still a lot of stuff that we could do there that would help the players use it. So we'll be looking at it this year.
Woohoo! Fun. Oh, Oh, I think I missed one. Do you guys have any plans for transmog items for Knowles?
Nothing coming soon, but if there's any ideas or suggestions, we'll see. We'll look into it. We don't have any plans right now. But that doesn't mean it can't be a possibility.
All right. Now we are on to Mars. Is there a possibility to have a �2 diamond event?
We actually just talked about events that we can turn on and off that some of our other games have, like Requiem, where it's a boost to refinement, a boost to honing, or what have you. We can look at double diamond events. I'm not sure if double diamond will be the top of that list. We'll have to see. We'll have to look into it, but we're looking into event switches that we can do that allow us to run these for a period of time.
Sweet. All right. Next, Warclaws asks, how can new players earn Zenny?
So I don't know if this was the question he meant to ask or if he meant to ask a different question, but I said level up, check out what items are valuable in the market, use the auction house, and go from there. There's a possibility that the question they were asking is how to be competitive in the market when hyperinflation has been an issue for a long time. That's a more complicated question, and really it's really the same answer, but also we need to look into all those AnySync ideas and methods that I talked about earlier, and what we can do to help the market and the players be more competitive, especially with new people coming in. Has always been an issue where the prices are so high because players have played for so long that it's hard to buy anything of much value. So yeah, if that was a question they meant to ask, sure. I gave them the answer for the other one otherwise.
I mean, either way, I know for me, one way that I earn Zenny is, like in the beginning, it was literally kill everything, sell everything, and then if you can find out what is currently needed as far as mats, find the most expensive item that's really annoying to just kind of gather, select, just grab a bunch of it, craft a whole bunch of materials, and then sell it all in chunks.
Yep.
Because I know, there was a day where I made 1,000 Zenny just doing that.
So it's the name of the game for a lot of other similar games in the same genre too.
Yeah.
So.
It's not hard. It's not impossible. It is doable. Treeflip asks, can we have more costumes with bonus buff like the 10% drop rate costumes and the 12 plus stats costumes?
We're more keen on drop rate than stats. I know that us here were never big fans of adding stats to cosmetic items. It's a reality that we live with now and we can't exactly change easily. When we're looking at new items for PvP and PvE, we'll also be looking at set effects and what we can get out of those. We're hoping for more than what we've done in the past. The ideal thing would be, what I've seen from other games, is a actual change to how maybe certain skills work or whatever, something specific to a class maybe, because right now we've had stats and we've had drop rate and not much out move speed maybe, but trying to see what we can do with it. So it's going to be looked at, and then once we know that, it's probably going to be the same applicable system to cosmetic items, but going forward, we probably will be steering clear from adding stats that directly make you more powerful to cosmetic items instead. Yeah, I say that, and we know that the rune hole issue is still existing, but we can steer this ship back to more balanced waters, but it's not going to be a hard left. It's going to be a long curve.
Well, that's going to make this next question really awkward. Any plans to add bonuses to old costumes?
So the bonuses, like I said, if it's a non-stat, I blow stuff up. Try not to swear there. Quicker. If it's not that, then we can look at it. We know that some of our other games have been successful in sort of changing statted stuff over to other stuff before, so we're actually borrowing ideas. I think Rose might have done it to other stats like drop rate. I don't know about move speed because move speed is very critical in PvP, but we'll be looking at what we can do to shift that way. But
cool.
No specific plan for specific costumes right now, but that's sort of the general idea of what we're looking at.
Sweet. Alright. Next. Can you add other payment methods for Indonesian players? Something that doesn't require a credit card.
I sent a message to our billing department before I got in here to see what's available for Indonesia, and what else is there. I know from experience from talking to them that they'll look into anything that gets suggested and we bring up to them. So if you're an Indonesian player and you want a specific payment method, message us, hit us up on the forums in a private message, or just get to us any way you can, and we'll look into it and see if we can set that up.
Cool. Next, Berserker Hound asks, why aren't the options to apply different colors to the different sections of or the costumes activated? Even though some say that options A, B, and C are there, you can't select them in about 90% or more of them.
I might be wrong, but I'm thinking the system was something new when we came out with the Cheney system. And it might just, the simple answer could be that it's just incomplete development, and the prior team probably thought that they were going to come out with those other aspects, and then it just wouldn't happen. If we know the specific items, we can look into if it's there. And there just might be a possibility that the design is not there, so you can't select it because there's just nothing there. But yeah, I mean, ultimately we would like to have that option for everything. I know for a while some of our items lacked the dye ability. I think that's what we're talking about. And it's a good way to differentiate yourself from other people. So we'll look into which ones are effective. But if it's the ones I'm thinking of, I think it's just like they got stopped kind of midstream, and so it is incomplete.
Berserk Hound asks, will there ever be an option to change the colors of the accessories?
Yeah, I mean, being able to customize all the accessories would be a cool option. Our priority right now is getting new costume items into the game and more accessories and more diversity. So it probably won't come before that. But it would be cool if we did design new accessories and stuff. We can look into doing that at the same time for those items, and we'll see what that takes.
Woo. Alright, next, Berserker Hound asks, is there any way that a fourth tab could be added to the menu in to include a trade sale option, since about half of the posts there are of players trying to let you know what they are trading or selling?
Yeah, I mean, we can look into new tabs for something for people who are looking to purchase or people who are looking to sell, and doing that to reduce the. I think the complaint is that there's trade spam or there's chat spam.
Yes, and I've noticed this too, where just so many people are just going selling this, blah 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 blah, trading, want to trade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're asking for simply having a trade channel. Which
Yeah.
I think there is.
There is, but I think there's a spam issue of like, if there's people wanting to buy or wanting to sell or what have you. So yeah, we can look and seeing if we can split it or add additional ones or do something like that.
Cool. And Peachy Love is back. Is there a chance that drop rates for these dual RHD sets could be raised in the future?
I actually have a email from a GM who I think has a support ticket regarding this issue, so I wonder if it's the same person. We're looking into it right now, so we'll see if they aren't dropping correctly and if they need a boost. So there is a chance.
Woot! Alright. At least that's all that I had when I made these. So, yes.
Yep, I think that's all.
So, any other questions? This is the time. So, we've answered all the questions that were previously on our forums. So, if you have any other questions you want to ask, he's right here. Right here. Here he is. He's all yours, guys.
So you just write it in the chat and we'll answer them.
Thanks. Or I'm sure Eden already has a collection of questions if she does. If not, I guess we could discuss your hate of pineapple. On pizza.
On pizza. I just was probably as a young Njoror, just put off by the idea of soggy pizza with pineapple juice dripping off of it.
That sounds reasonable.
It was never appetizing to me, and it made pizza parties worse.
I have to agree. I am not a pineapple on my pizza type. Should be savory, not sweet.
Right.
That's sort of. Oh, so Eden has our first question. Is there an ETA for Seed Rune updates?
It'll come after we get the card reinforcement update out. We have the rates down. We have an idea of what we want to do with the drops for seed runes and master level areas. And then an idea for a shop box that will kind of package together a lot of stuff that are used with runes and seed runes, so that it's, if you like kind of want to buy, if you use a bunch, you buy the box instead of having to buy all the individual items, and you save probably a couple of, or a little bit of capper points in doing so.
Nice. All right, so going back to while we wait for the thing to speed up, any other strange food combinations you are not a fan of? I don't know why this has decided to be the subject.
Not really. Oh, I once had what I thought was mashed potatoes was actually mashed cauliflower, and that was the worst trick ever played on.
Oh, that's a good one. Second question, from Eden, or I guess from our player base. Any plans for an option to turn off the red monster shouts without having to turn off normal chat?
Nothing planned right now. We are actually looking at disabling or having an option to disable or reining back global announcements. So we can probably look into that as well. I know global announcements are probably the bigger gripe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes, knowing when everyone wins a thing is exciting yet annoying. Alright, so.
I know the one that she's talking about.
Is it you watch that screams, haha, I can't remember. What? Oh, yes, okay, I get it now.
It's like over and over, too.
It's true. I just want to edit some of them because their idea of English is terrible.
There was a guild a couple years ago that sent me a video or a screenshot, and they were just standing around that monster and laughing, like repeating, like ha 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 back at it. It was hilarious. I think it was my Twitter picture for a while. I don't remember.
Awesome. Oh, those are all the questions that were sent to her. So,
Okay.
hey, we're just gonna.
I can go over some stuff that we're working on.
Awesome. Share with us.
So for those of you that read the Njoror notes that are on the forum, some of these might be familiar to you, but those unfamiliar with the Njoror notes, it's just sort of a way for me to, I post them on the days that we have maintenance and to kind of flesh out what we're working on and what's going on, because a lot of times the patch notes just kind of show you what's going into the game, and people have questions about like what's coming up, why isn't this happening, why whatever is happening, so I do those notes. Current stuff that we're working on, we shifted from certain PvP updates, not that we're not doing them, but because they would take a lot longer than we thought. New PvP textures and balance buff and stuff like that would take a lot longer, and we knew there was a need for new content for players. So we have a big design project right now that we're working on that targets the master level zones. Right now we're testing easier master level mastery point requirements, better EXP from monsters and quests, changing certain monsters from aggro to passive as non-boss monsters, so it's easier to navigate around maps when you're leveling. A big focus on moving away from leveling zones from being group only to allow players to actually solo level like it should be. We are also adding elements to monsters that didn't have them before, so we can bring back that system. New quests, including this almost 90 quest long goddess quest line that we're working on, plus there's going to be a lot more that comes in the future. And then other quests that are for the purpose of expanding the story. helping out with leveling, helping out with farming, all that kind of stuff. Edga accessories for Edga coins, and other similar changes we want to do to provide viability back to master level zones for level cap players that don't have any reason to go back there. New DNA, new cards, obviously targeting ones that haven't had DNA monster pets, and plus we have some card art left over that we found that we're trying to see is viable and we can use that. This is probably going to come in phases because certain stuff is a lot easier to apply than others, like making up 90 new quests takes a while. And then after that, the PvP updates, the ones that we were talking about, are still targeted for this year, but it's going to be new PvP items, armor, equipment, weapons. There's going to be we're calling it balance buff or something. We haven't named it yet, but similar to how it works in Colosseum, but we're going to tweak it so that it's applied to Jehu, War of Imperium, Colosseum, and it negates sort of the effects of PvE items, but allows PvP items to be useful. That way, going forward, when we scale up PvE, it doesn't become one-shot city in WoW, and you can use the PvP items and giving and sort of fine-tuning the PvP items, the new ones, to have stats that are relevant for the map and all that. That way, people you could do both, and you're not afraid that somebody's going to roll in with raid tier gear and wreck you. The legacy dungeons I mentioned before, bringing in new PvE stuff from there. We have plans to update and add to the unions. And then Niflheim, as I mentioned before, is right now it's 2 maps, and we're working on the rest of it, but that's going to be the biggest thing to climb. So that's what's going on right now. There's a lot of other stuff in between, like class balance and fixing issues and updates to systems and all that kind of stuff. That's not necessarily like new visual development, but that's what's going on.
One day we'll have new things.
Yes.
It'll be shiny and new,
Yes.
maybe, possibly, in Chrome. So again, if you have any other questions, this would be the time to ask. We've got about 12 minutes. I guess one thing I could probably ask, since you're here to answer it. Now, I did respond to the player with this because I'm pretty sure I know the answer. But for all those wondering, a question that had come across our Facebook was new classes. More specifically, a player was asking about having the gunslinger class.
So we actually have write-ups for new classes that we had before we took over development. That is a big undertaking because it spans the entire length of the game, and you have to sort of balance it around that. I doubt something would come before Niflheim if we were to do something like that. Could be a cool addition to it if we have the time, but it's definitely one of the things we want to do. We have, I think, 3 or 4 in mind. I don't know if Gunslinger is one. It might be one.
I know it's one of the ones that's featured in the original Ragnarok.
Right.
There's a few other that's in the Ragnarok. Like, isn't there like a ninja? There's a ninja class.
Yeah, we have a couple costumes. We have a Gunslinger costume. We have a ninja costume.
Yeah. We have the costume. You could put it on and pretend to be a gunslinger, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we talked about like coming out with new classes that would be somewhat relevant to new zones we would come out with. So it would be like something we could fit in story wise.
If you have vampires, I'm there.
Yeah.
Or werewolves. I will take either or.
It's something that's on. It's like in our bin of stuff we want to do. It's just going to be figuring out if and when we can do it.
So I guess to put it in perspective for future players, I mean, a lot of it is we already have a lot planned for the future. We have all the updates to the cards, to just basically fixing everything. We have Niflheim. So really anything like that would likely be, let's say, next year if possible. Maybe.
The new class?
Classes or anything of the sort like. Would you say?
I mean, I don't know. I think we could...
Maybe work at it?
Yeah, I mean, Niflheim this year is what our target is, and so if we can work in a class, it's just going to have to see how complicated and all that we can do.
So our players are giving us suggestions. They want the Royal Guard class. They want a homunculus and the cart classes first.
I'm told by the R01 team that we do not want to delve into homunculus.
Oh, and the bard and dancer. That'd be an interesting one. It'd be kind of like the bards in another MMO, maybe. I don't know.
Bard and dancer in R01. I forget the zone that it was in, but I think that we were talking about new zones and what we could do, and it got brought up.
Yeah.
So.
And Eden does bring up the point. Gunslingers did come out later. Yeah, they were much later. They weren't any of the core classes. They were kind of just a cute little addition later on.
Like a standalone or something.
But, yeah. Someone also wants a paladin. A super novice would be better. Well, what would you want to, if you could just go in and add anything, what would you add?
Geffen.
Geffen? Someone did suggest that earlier. I would love Geffen. I also want, what's the tower, the name, I can't remember the name of the tower.
We found concept art for Geffen, but I don't know if it was officially a thing or it just happened to be on someone's hard drive because it's kind of basic, but it looked like it was on something. At least somebody drew like one picture that was kind of vague, but...
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I want a Komodo casino. Perma Akko. Or a cute knoll with a big axe. Just massive.
Oh,
Biochem, that's what I'm trying to remember.
Another thing that we're thinking of, and this is just a random thought, we had a proposal for an MVP system. I think I've mentioned this before on stream.
Ooh.
Like in 2014, and it wasn't built, and actually had Edga on there because it was using a bunch of MVPs from R1 before Edga made it into our game and was super buff. But we're thinking of like looking at that and maybe updating it and what we can do there, because I think that would be a cool thing to have wandering monsters that you have to go fight that are in the zones and bring life back to other zones.
You know what you definitely need if you do that though? Squiggle. A giant squiggle that you have to kill.
Yes.
And it's huge.
Well, we thought of, I think Freoni was on the list, which is a frightening toothed monster.
Only mildly frightening. So does anyone insert Zenny Sync here? Oh, yes. Any other questions you want to ask? He's right here. He's right here. This is where he's at. You'll have to wait a whole other 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 4, 5, many weeks until he returns.
I go into hibernation in between.
Yes. Really, it's just a cocoon at the desk, right?
Yes.
This little tiny cocoon. Make great thread, I guess, when you come out for town hall meetings. Hodes?
I want them, but I'm being told that 3D Hodes might be a problem.
What could possibly go wrong with that?
I don't know.
I think that'd be a wonderful idea.
But, yeah, I mean, if we can get that stuff rolling, I would like to introduce a lot of stuff that was in R01 that hasn't been brought up in R02.
And another thing, if you guys are watching and you have any ideas, or hell, if you want to help out with stuff, you can join our R02 Requiem team. I believe we still have the sign-up sheet on our website at www.warportal.
BCR team. I think you said R02 Requiem.
Yes. Oh. My brain is all confused. So if you go to our website, you can join us. And, I mean, we have people who have done, let's see, they do quests, they do translations.
They do really anything they want to do to help the game. And some people just kind of come in to give their feedback on what we're testing on our test server, which is very helpful to us. We kind of use them as a focus group for that. So.
Yes. And it is open to anybody who wants to come on in. So please don't be shy. Just answer the questions and I'll answer. Answers like nope don't count. Just don't put stings in the game and you're fine. Stings just want high fives. I somehow don't think they just want high fives.
I thought they just want desert roses.
Is that what desert roses everywhere? Hated those stings. Alright, well, It's 3:55. If anyone has any questions, again, ask them now. This is the time. And to murder people trying to leech. Damn Quagmire. Do. I don't know. So.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Oh, that's something was freaking out.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. We're not freaking out. The YouTube stream.
All right, well.
That's it. I guess we'll go ahead and close it now. As a reminder, we do have our forums. Check out Njoor's notes. We also have all of our patch notes up every week.
Sorry, and I was just going to say that your notes go up on the forums and the community chat at maintenance time every week, so it should be this next Monday.
And don't be afraid to ask more questions, obviously. But, yeah, so thank you for joining us. I'm CM Veritas. This is...
I am Njor.
And Eden is joining us in the chat right now. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.